Finest Hours. I thought going into it that it was going to be, and it was, a very sweeping, epic love story. Is that what drew you to it?
I didn't actually know it was going to be such a sweeping epic love story until I watched it. Actually, I don't know. I what drew me to it was the story of the rescue. It was one that I never heard before, and just sort of found fascinating that it was a true story, that so many lives could be saved on such a tiny boat. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that was the surprising element of it, seeing how small that boat actually was and going into the vastness of the sea.
And it's not until I went to Chatham where it's shot. I mean, in fact, we shot in Chatham, but over the summer before we started shooting, I went to Chatham, and they still have the 36,500 Coast Guard boat as like a museum piece tied up to Chatham Harbour, and stepping on that, I was on it with, like, I think there was 4 or 5 of us, and it felt tiny. I mean, it felt sort of now and impossible to save that many lives on it. It's not until you actually stand on it that you're like, oh my god. Yeah, it was.
And how are your sea legs? Are you all right on the sea, or?
I'm all right. I mean, I can't say that I've exactly taken any like epic sea trips or been in anything that's even vaguely that's vaguely like this. I'm not sure I would be quite comfortable with being on a boat that was actually going through the waves. But when it's a nice calm day and I'm sitting on top of them, that's fine.
Let's talk a bit about your character in the movie. So you start opposite Chris Pine. There's a great scene when you guys meet as well for the first time, which really sets up the romance, I thought. So can I ask about your first day on set? Was that the first day when you met on screen as well?
Oh no, no, God, wouldn't you wish that we'd shoot things in order? No, my first day, terrifyingly, was I'd just flown overnight from doing a job in Wales, actually, to start my scenes in the Coast Guard office opposite Eric Bana, which was slightly terrifying, but kind of great because Miriam's a fish out of water in those scenes, and so it was sort of great that I actually felt like one.
Mm-hmm. And working with Chris as well. Can you tell us about those scenes in particular?
Yeah, we had we did get a chance to rehearse a little bit before we started, which just consisted of us going through a couple of scenes in Craig's flat. But and the two of us really kind of fell in love with the relationship between Bernie and Miriam. Just how I love the way that Chris plays Bernie. So sweet, so humble, so no like kind of false machismo. It's all about the kind of the integrity and honesty and like a kind of old school masculinity, and just the fact, and Miriam's quite self-assured and kind of goes with her gut, and just the relationship between the two of them was just so sweet, and kind of I felt like it was really fun playing with that dynamic with Chris of like who's sort of wearing the trousers in the relationship at which bit, and knowing as well that the real life Bernie and Miriam they met on the phone. You know, they had a phone conversation for months before they even knew what each other looked like, and there's something incredibly sweet about that. It's something that you kind of don't get nowadays.
Mm-hmm. When you're working on a film like this, which is based on a true story and with real life people, how much do you research into them, or do you look more at the script and how that's going?
Well, for this, it was hugely helpful for me meeting the family. I met Patty, Bernie and Miriam's daughter, and she told me. I mean, her mum was quite a private person, so she wouldn't share any videos or anything with me. I was dying to see them or hear her voice or something, but she did talk to me quite a bit about her mum, and I'm sure she has no idea how helpful that she was. Just the little snippets of things that kind of really helped me create a character in my mind, or get or have an essence of something. And Patty also introduced me to a contemporary of Miriam's who was from the area and from the similar kind of time, and that really helped to sort of help me put myself in the mindset of the kind of the regional American 1950s, which I think really helped to understand Miriam's values.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you mentioned the 1950s, because amazing costumes, amazing kind of vehicles and all of that. Does it really help get into characters, seeing those and being part of those?
Yeah, certainly. There's something that's far more composed and ladylike about the kind of 1950s working woman, and so just they're having the nails done and the lipstick done and the girdle on, like that really, I mean, physically you sort of don't really have to do any prep into the physicality of it because it just comes with the costume. But yeah, it's just the whole, I mean, the scenes where we were all in the cars driving to the harbour, they were beautiful to film. And it was really fun driving the car, actually. That was great. That was great. I'm so bad at fake driving, so I was so pleased that I actually got to actually be in the car with the camera on the front. It was far easier.
Are they easy to drive? Because I can imagine they're being a lot more difficult than modern cars.
Well, if it's just a lot more arm goes
no
into
power
the
steering,
turning
you're
of
doing
it.
big turn, yeah.
I mean, it's so hard because obviously they break down every second take, but I think it's I think it's harder for like Americans that aren't used to driving stick shift. But my mum has an old-fashioned car, so I sort of had a little time like driving that, so I didn't find this one quite so difficult.
Excellent. And finally, were you envious at all not to be out on the sea and not to do those scenes? Because there are moments that it looks quite fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they were out on the sea, I probably might have been, but they were actually in a studio in freezing cold water in a dark studio. So in a freezing dark studio. So I don't. No, I wasn't envious.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You got the better deal, I think. Driving the car, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
With the heat
Thank
on.
you. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey!